Hey guys, TC here. I'm getting a little tired of hearing about this. Oh, everything's great in China. It's the USA that sucks. No. No. Is everything perfect here? No. But it sure is a hell of a lot better than China. China, in all reality, let's be honest, is a shithole. What you see on the TV and the internet from China are the select few spots that have had any infrastructure built into it. It's essentially a Potemkin Village. You know what Potemkin is? It's basically, it's made to look good, and that's it. There's no functionality to it. And let's be honest, the new infrastructure they have over there is falling apart. And in such a degree, they actually created a term for it called tofu buildings. Go look it up. What happened is that they spruced the country up back in the 90s to try to get in the World Economic Forum. However, like with most Chinese and Chinese culture, they cut corners. And they use a bunch of substandard building materials. And now, 30 years later, shit's falling to the ground. Bridges, buildings, whatever. A big reason for that is the sand they used when they mixed their concrete. They cheaped out and they used sand from the friggin' ocean because it's cheap. Well, there's a lot of salt in the sand from the ocean. And what happens is that it got mixed with the concrete and they put the rebar in the concrete. And after 30 years, it basically chewed away all the rebar in the concrete. And now shit's literally falling to the ground. All over the country. All at once. It's horrible. You don't have to take my word for it. Just go look it up. Just go look it up. Some of you will, some of you won't. That's just on the East Coast. You go into the interior of China, they're still literally dirt poor. I mean, they make the poor people of Appalachia look like they're living on the high hog. I'm just saying. It's Potemkin. It's bullshit. It's all about they're all about saving face with that culture. They're all about preening like a peacock and looking good, right? Now look at me, you know? And there ain't no substance there. It's full of shit. And another thing, Mao was a communist. And I'm sure some of the other premiers that follow him were communists. But China is more of an amalgamation of, since they entered the World Economic Forum, mind you, since the 90s, they are more of an amalgamation of actual fascism and oligarchy. And the reason I know this, just look at the sheer number of billionaires they got running around in China. Or even millionaires. You can go to millionaires. There's no such thing as a millionaire, much less a billionaire, in a truly communist system. And see, this goes into other topics I've covered before of how fascism and communism are really two sides of the same sheet of single ply toilet paper, arguing about which side to wipe with. You know, there are a few small differences, but essentially both ideologies, and that's why they're so compatible, are based in socialism. Now, Nazism is still socialism, but it's not Marxist socialism. There are several different flavors of socialism, just like there's many different flavors of capitalism. But Nazism, fascism, communism, all these isms, their root, their foundation is socialism. And I stand by and maintain that socialism is an evil ideology. Nothing but pain and suffering. Every single time it's been implemented. Every single time. So, you don't have to believe me. You can go look it up yourself. I know you won't. You just want to argue with me online. That's fine. That gives me something to talk about, making fun of you guys. But China is not a purely communistic system right now. And to my knowledge, they still have to pay for their health care. It's nothing free. But they are not allowed to invest. The only investments the Chinese people as a whole can invest in is real estate. And that's why their real estate situation right now is so catastrophic to their economy, because their retirements were sunk into these apartments and buildings that were promised to be built in the future so they could sell the apartments later on. And a lot of these apartments never got built because the construction companies that were given the funds preloaded went out of business. Oops. And not to mention all these little cities that are uninhabited, because that's, again, all they could invest in is construction, real estate. So that incentivized them just to build, even though they didn't have a need for all the buildings. Again, this is all out there. You don't have to believe me, but it is what it is. You have basically a dry, rotted society with a fresh coat of paint on it, but it's starting to rain, and you can start seeing the actual damage of the structure. It's not good, guys. It's not good. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news over in China. A lot of factories are going up in balls of flames because the employers over there aren't paying their workers, and the workers don't have any recourse, so they get agitated and pissed off. So they're like, you know what? We're just going to burn your factory to the ground. And it's happening all over the place. There's a lot of civil unrest. There's a lot of injustices in China. The people don't have a recourse with their government. It's basically being led by the mafia. Let's be honest. It's mafioso tactics. And that's why they're shitbags. Because the mafia are a bunch of shitbags. I'm just putting it out there. It's not a good society. It's not a good culture. They used to have a good culture. You want good Chinese culture, you go to Taiwan. You go to Taiwan. Got democratic Chinese people, and they built something wonderful on that island. And by the way, the Republic of China is the actual legitimate government of West Taiwan, because Mao pushed Czech over to Taiwan, but Czech's government never fell. It still remained in Taiwan. The government of Taiwan is the legitimate government of all of China, not the commies. Just saying. Open up a book, guys. Look at some pictures. Do some research. You don't have to believe me. But when you do, you need to come back over here and apologize. Say, Boggs, you're right again. And I'm like, I know. I'm glad you finally caught up. Now, let's talk about it. The rest of you guys take care. TC out.